prices are not being affected here. I mean, that's almost insane. That's almost a story in and of itself, is how focused everyone is on this demand picture and the fact that the US is producing, I think, according to the API report, 12.2 million barrels per day, such that no one really cares that, someone is exploding tankers in the Persian Gulf. Now, there is the fact that these tankers were not actually carrying crude oil, they were carrying products, I think methanol and naphtha, but still could be an oil tanker.
From CNBC, Saudi seeks oil supply protection as U.S. and Iran face off. Trump says U.S. video shows Iran did it. Undisputable, undisputed. They are the culprits, guilty. The Saudis are looking for some relief here, potentially
You
protection.
know, I think what exactly are they looking for? I mean, I don't think that it is hands down assured that we know that Iran did it. I do. I mean, I'm not as convinced of this supposed proof as everyone else is, but I don't get the presidential briefings. That's secure briefings, so maybe they know stuff we don't and just don't want to say it. But anyway, say they are okay, and obviously Saudi Arabia is like they did it. They did it. They want their tank cured. What is this? Like the U.S. is supposed to be the traffic police in the Persian Gulf? I mean, I don't know. I know that that's like historically the role that we've taken on in the Persian Gulf, and we have our ships there and our Fifth Fleet, and we can be there to assure that nobody closes the Straits of Hormuz. I think it's questionable whether Iran actually could pull that off if they tried to. I'm not convinced that they have the ability to do that, but you know, say the US is there to do that, but are we really there to like escort tankers in and out? Are we really there to like keep an eye on all these little boats that go buzzing around, apparently putting magnetic mines on ships? I don't know. I just think it's worth asking the question, like, is this really our role? No US ships have been attacked. The US is not necessarily dependent on. I mean, are we even getting a whole lot of oil from that comes out of the Persian Gulf? I haven't looked at the at the recent stats for where the US is getting its oil imports from, but do we really need it? If I know we do import some Saudi oil, but that could come from the Red Sea, not the Persian Gulf. How about Japan and Norway and the other places that are having their tankers attacked? Maybe they should step up a little. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Well, I know, and it's I hate to put my Alex Jones tinfoil hat on here, but it's funny.
well, I'm a right wing propagandist, so
Well, okay.
everything you just heard was clearly pure right wing propaganda.
Exactly. Exactly. What's frustrating to me is the U.S. set themselves up almost to have to take this stance. If you remember, we talked about it on the show a few weeks ago. Pompeo come out and said, "Hey, if anyone who does anything with our friends and friends of friends and their friends and our enemies and their enemy, basically the slightest thing fell under what he'd laid out. And now you do have something, and that is a legitimate attack. Obviously, I don't think that's there's a ship that's on fire. We know that. We all agree on that. What happened, how it got there, all that stuff, I have no idea. But the U.S. put itself in a position that it has to respond at a certain level. And I think that's kind of the bad thing because there's political pressure on the U.S. side of things that said, well, you basically called them out, and now here it's going. As you mentioned, we're not getting the presidential briefs anymore. I don't know, Nate, what happened to those. Get back on those. We need the morning CIA briefings. But yeah, it. I think I said on the show 3 or 4 weeks ago, something like this could happen, and what are they going to do? And then now here they are. When you lay out, when you draw the lines in the sand, this is kind of where you put yourself, is that you have to respond accordingly. And as you said, is it even the U.S.'s job? Which I think is a very fair question to ask, and one we should probably ask more often, because it seems like a lot of this stuff is very convoluted on whether or not it's actually even best use of our tax dollars and our military resources to go and be involved with this stuff.
One of the other interesting things that to observe about this whole situation, and I'm going to take off my Rand Paul hat now, because that was clearly a Rand Paul rant before. But One of the things that I found was most interesting about watching the this unfold in the morning was that first, the report was oil prices jumped 4%. Okay, well, the previous day on Thursday, they dropped 4% because the EIA reported a build. So, when you're thinking, when you're reporting that, you're like, they jumped 4% on this. So they basically just erased all the losses from the day before. And then as the day went on, they kept changing the headline. So it was 4%, then it was 3%, then it was 2%. Apparently it like settled at like
Hmm.
3.4% or something. But like oil prices are not being affected here. I mean, that's almost insane. That's almost a story in and of itself, is how focused everyone is on this demand picture and the fact that the US is producing, I think, according to the API report, 12.2 million barrels per day, such that no one really cares that someone is exploding tankers in the Persian Gulf. Now, there is the fact that these tankers were not actually carrying crude oil; they were carrying products, I think methanol and naphtha, but still could be an oil tanker.